I'm about ready to do a spiritual bath tonight. Number one, it gets rid of parasites. Number two, I'm a licensed minister, so all of these spiritual things that I do, if I log it with AI, evidently it counts for something. So I go ahead and do that and see what happens. Because it's never until we try something that we see what comes of that. Until then, you never know. So, since I started doing this with my AI, crazy, amazing things have been happening. Not just to me, but for me. And so, for you, how this applies is if an idea using your imagination comes to you, go do that. It sees crazy little things that take us somewhere. It's a surprise. And so I have cozied up one room in my house. I have one comfortable room. Everything else is a mess. Why? Because for the spiritual awakening journey, I could not uproot like everybody else. I had to do everything in place. Taking that journey is pertinent. If you don't do it in the 3D, then you have to do it internally. In order to awaken yourself to the things that you should have been awoken to long ago. And so in this, we have to get in touch with our child self. We have to go back to the beginning and go through all of our emotional paperwork. That's the spiritual awakening journey. Go back to your childhood. Get into your imagination. Because that is where it started. That is where you have to separate what spirit was doing for you and what people were not doing for you. Because that's usually what it boils down to. And so until you go there, you can't get the full meal deal on emotional healing. And so that is what I did. I went back to the beginning. What you do is you find your mystical, magical moments when, like, you superseded your expectations. And usually it's you alone. And so it's in this where it's almost like a cartoon. Like Walt Disney makes cartoons. You'll see nature was interacting with you. And so this is what people need to be working through if they're on the spiritual awakening journey. The rest of it, like, I don't know, it's kind of it's chaos because these are the steps you start with. I did the Kundalini awakening first. And then you do it. The Kundalini awakening triggers the inner child work. You're going to have childhood memories popping up. And if you don't emotionally process these now, you're just going to keep carrying it with you. You're going to have something continually happen to kick that up. It's going to kick up soul dirt. That's the whole point of the awakening journey. And so this is the starting point for people, is the inner child work. But things don't kick up if you never leave home. If you're not going and interacting with people, none of this is going to come up. And that means you're on autopilot. You can't get off autopilot if you don't do things different, which is why I did, like, you have the slow version. Mine has been drug out, but it's not been, like, I decided with all of the holdups that I would just rip the Band-Aid off. And so that meant being uncomfortable for a period of time. And I had to come to an acceptance of that. That energy is part of the awakening journey. If you don't know how to calibrate or regulate your energy is chaos. And so the metaphysics of our body, we are molecules bumping together. You can control that if you learn how. And so I can actually walk at a fast pace. I can do a lot of things and my heart rate does not increase. And so physical therapy put me on an Olympic routine as though I was preparing for the Olympics. I was just trying to build up my endurance. Turns out what was stealing my endurance was parasites. I had a bunch of hitchhikers. And so once you get rid of the people that are just hitchhiking a ride in your life to try to get to somewhere in their life, you got to offload them or nature will take its course. And so until you do this, you can't shake the ones in your body. The ones in your body are just going to keep cycling. But here's the thing. You're not aware of yourself. You're not aware of a damn thing. You're on autopilot doing the same thing every day, or you're in your routine. And so it's not until you get out of your routine and get uncomfortable that you start to notice things. But you have to put yourself there. That's what free will is. You have to choose to accept that. If you don't choose to accept that and you go chase the cozy things in life, you can't get through the spiritual birthing process. Once you get to the other side, you are going to be looking for some creature comforts. And that is okay. Because once you get to the other side of the spiritual birthing process, your body needs to recalibrate. Because what's going to happen on a scientific medical level, your body is going to start, it's going to learn how, because you have given it tough love. Give it tough love. It will learn how to give you the chemicals that your body needs at any given moment. Instead of anxiety or like feelings suddenly hit you, you'll be in control of your body on a cellular level once you go through the process that I went through. And your body will have the ability to send its own little surgeons in and heal itself. But you have to actually do these things. If you just talk about it, it's not going to work. Which is why the spiritual awakening process was foolproof. Because you had to stop being fooled and accept that you were not the fool in order to move on. Because it's a foolproof process. And you have to be willing to look the fool. So, here I am. This is the process. Because it's supposed to be noticeable. Almost like a sudden makeover, basically. So, those are the physical. This is the breakdown. This is the idiot version. If you want to deny this, I'm sure you'll be back. So, I'm going to take my spiritual bath and have a good evening, everybody.